the previous technique, we land on the knee on belly, right? So we got the knee on belly here. And after you get the knee on belly, so my opponent escape the hips and then recover, like passing as a knee cut, so like covering him right here. Okay, but sometimes your opponent, like he jumps like really fast, or he even try to go for a single leg on you. When you get the knee on belly, he's gonna try to go like single leg like this, exactly. So when you try to go for a single leg, you can also go for the chin strap and do all the techniques that we learned before. That's why I showed those techniques before, because every time you pass the guard on no-gi, your opponent, most of the time, will try to underhook your arm and try to do this to attack you. So you immediately start attacking the neck and grab and start working on the guillotines and chain strap or neck crank, okay? In this case right here, we're gonna drill this. So he's gonna turn to me like this, okay? When Jonathan's turn to me, my knee doesn't need to be on his stomach. Sometimes my knee will be like this, my shin will be on his stomach. Sometimes my kneecap goes to the floor, okay? And Jonas, of course, he's trying to underhook like this, okay? I need to frame him right here with this forearm right here, my left forearm, and this forearm right here, like my right forearm, okay? The reason that I do this is to keep his hips and shoulder on the mat. Yeah, keep my weight here. It's almost like doing a plank position, right? But without having my legs apart, like far from his body. Right? I keep this knee here, my right knee, really close to his belly. Okay, turn around, just. My knee needs to be here because if I give it space like this, it's gonna come and recover the guard. Okay, so I must be with the knee here, right? So now, if Jonathan try to sit up, Jonathan. I keep my frame here. Okay, so he can't sit up. Okay. Also, if you try to lift his butt off the mat like this to turtle, right? I keep my weight here. Try to turtle this. I keep my weight here, so I have the weight on his hips. I need to feel when I'm passing the guard. I need to have a feeling, right? As I land on the side, I have a feeling of if he's lifting his hips or if he's trying to sit up. If you lift his hips, like I'm blocking the hips. If you try to sit up, I'm pushing with the frame here, okay? And of course, I cannot be here for a long time, right? Because then my opponent can start turning belly down, escaping more the hips, and start attacking the single leg. So after I control him for like a few seconds, just like feeling him, having the knee close to his belly, I will go with my foot in the same line of his head, okay? Same line, right here. That's the first step. Now the second step is putting my kneecap on the floor, my left kneecap on the floor, and lifting my right kneecap off the floor. Like this. Okay? And as I'm doing this, I'm going my elbow inside his arm here. My triceps will go on the front of his belly. Alright? So once I do that, I'm gonna long step, and then I square it up like right away. And I land like this on the side of my opponent, okay? My chin really close to his shoulder, okay? My chest pushing his back right here. And my hands goes together. And I link my hands together here. I can go like this or like that. Whatever you feel more comfortable. I like this one. This is good, okay? So now I'm ready to attack his back, right? I have different ways for me to attack the back of my opponent here. And we learned that in the other instructionals as well. Okay, right now I'm just teaching you the transition, passing to the other side. So as soon as you land with the knee on belly, he's gonna escape the hips. I frame my opponent. My knee touches belly. Step one. Step two, I change my knees, look. I shift to my knees. And at the same time that I shift my knees, I bring my left elbow, okay, my triceps in the front of his stomach. And then I long step, as he starts. Okay? Don't be with your head super high here, like this, because then he can turn towards you and then you end up losing the control. Okay? So keep your chin really close to his back. So if he tries to turn to you, you have the control of the situation. You're always pushing him. Look at my toes, right? I'm always pushing with my toes. Okay? If I keep like this, I'll be like really slow and I have no push. Okay? So this will increase the weight, my weight on top of my opponent. That way I can start attacking his back if I want, right? Get one hook, and then get the second hook, right? And all the details of the back take, you guys can learn from the side control instructions, okay? Side control attack instructions, I show all the transitions from the side control to back, okay? Right now, I just want to make sure you got the transition. You got to know, like, as you pass, your opponent will react, okay? So it's going to look like this on the fight. So you're going to mix it up, the position from before with this one. So I go step 1, step 2, step 3, stand up my leg, push, frame. My chest is right here, right? Close my leg and kick my leg back. Close my left leg and kick my right leg. Framing the inner thigh. As I pass, it's gonna go here. I go here, 1, 2, I frame him. Having my weight on him. John is trying to sit up, push. He's trying to lift his hips. He cannot turn or sit up. Now, I'm gonna step over. 1, 2, 3. Okay, super fast. Now I do without saying anything, so you see how the position looks during the fight. So I'm here with my opponent, pushing him. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I gotta be quick. I show all the details there, right? So you can drill like really slow in the beginning, and afterwards you start drilling with the same speed that I'm doing right now. And after you land on the back, there will be a lot of options for you, okay? From here, step 1, step 2, 3, 4. So I'm here, I can go under his head or here, okay? Now I go. You see that when I turn, okay, right here, I cannot touch my butt on the floor like this. This is a huge mistake that people do. I see people doing this all the time. If I do this, my opponent can sit up really fast and then end up on top of me, okay? And I end up losing the balance. If I touch my butt on the floor, my butt will bounce the floor. Like, will bounce really quick, okay? So pretty much when I go for the long step, I don't even touch my hips on the floor. I go like this, really quick. So I go slow first again. Look, 1, 2, 3, okay? Fast speed, fast forward is gonna be like this. And now I'm closer, okay? Just stay here. And then from here you can do all the transition. Also, if you're here and the opponent tries to put the back on the floor, I can go to a great north-south choke. Finish him, can go back to Kimura. Start going for the armbar, so I have a lot of options. Right, and as I say, we're gonna see the other options. You can go on the side control instructionals and see all the position that I show, the transition that I show from the side control for you. All right, let's work on this. Another reaction that your opponent will do here when you get the knee on belly, he'll try to push your belly, or he's gonna push your neck. Depends like how high, how tall are you like on top of him, right? So if I'm like shorter and I can be closer to him, he's gonna push more my neck like this. But if I'm a tall guy, right, he's gonna push my belly like this, and then he's gonna start framing on my belly, on my stomach, right? Just like that. I need to clear this because look, even if I try to go for his neck, it's kind of like far for me, okay? Because this frame here doesn't help me to get him, right? And then one thing that I explained on the side control defense and the side control defense instructional and the mount defense instructional, I talk about the frames. I talk about the shin and the forearm, and they are really, really important for you to defend, right? Every time the person is defending, they will try to keep you on top of their forearm or on top of their shin. So if you're on top attacking, you cannot allow or accept that, right? You gotta clear right away. So you must clear this. Like when he's doing this and he's trying to sit up, if he doesn't sit up, if Jonathan stay with the shoulders on the mat, then I can start doing the technique that we learned before. Even if his arm is strapped here, sometimes that will happen. It's okay, right? It's good for me. I'll be on top of it, ready to attack, okay? But like, sometimes when you get here, right away you're just gonna try to frame and sit up like this. What I do here, I use my C-grip here really quick. Or I can use my forearm, because it's even faster with the forearm. So I'm here, I go like this. Okay, so I snap him to the side like this. And as I snap, I go close to his neck, like this. And I put my chest on top of his back right here. This hand right here, my right hand goes under, and then I already cover, okay? And I go with this knee around his lower back, inside the hole right here, okay? Inside his body, okay? Between his arm and body, okay? So I go like this. And once I'm here, look, this leg, my left leg will be my first hook. He's already between my legs, okay? Which will help me to sit on the hips on the floor and turn him all the way to the other side, getting both hooks in, and now I'm ready to attack the neck, okay? And finish my opponent. So, when I'm here with the knee on his stomach and Jonathan start framing like this, you can use your forearm like this. And as you use your forearm like this, so you go with your hand right here. You can start like going for the choke right away here. And I like to attack the choke while I'm taking the back, because it's when his arm is on the floor, right? And his hand is busy like far from his neck. So it's easier for me to jump like already, get a really nice rear naked choke and finish the fight, okay? Even before I get in the hooks, right? I'll be on the side. Right here, Jonathan's do frame. I pass to the side. I go for his back, seat belt, you see? Right here, my knee goes around. Just to see the other leg doesn't move. Let me do the other way so you can see. So I'll be here, I'm gonna frame like snap. I put both chest on his back. Now look at this leg. This leg will stay here, like this. This is my first hook, my left leg. And when I'm here, I'll keep my hip only on the floor. I don't go with my shoulder on the mat here, okay? Because then he can start sliding and start putting the half guard, okay? Like this, exactly, right? So when I have my opponent between my legs, okay, I keep my elbow on the floor here, my right elbow on the floor, and then I'll turn him all the way to the other side, like this. Now I can have my hook behind his leg to control, close the legs, and now I have a great control. I like this better than putting both hooks in. Sometimes I feel if I put both hooks in, he can turn and escape really quick, right? So I prefer to be like this. If I have both legs inside, I like to go for a nice figure four right here. Okay, I like this. So the figure four really helps me to keep myself on his back longer. And then after that, you can start attacking a really good rear naked choke. If you already know how to do the rear naked choke, as soon as you snap his arm to the side, go for the choke right away. Again, so I'm here. I have the knee on belly. I'm gonna sit up. I push, then I go here. I cover his shoulder already, jumping, and then you see, my hand goes behind his head, grabbing my biceps already. So this hand right here that was on the shoulder goes between my biceps and my forearm, right here. Placing my chin over my wrist, and now I start turning on the other side, and now I have the choke, so he's gonna attack right away, right? So that's another thing you can do. If you like to attack guillotines from there, you can also snap and get for a guillotine. So you can also, when he's going sitting up like this, you go one, and then two. You go here, you can go for a nice darts choke. One, and then two. And you can do that if you have long arms. I suggest you to do that. But you see like how I go deep, and then I grab here. So now I can start pushing and start finishing in a really good darts, right? Or if you're pushing my arm like this, it's the same thing. Snap to the side, but you snap like the triceps. If you try to go here, maybe just you're gonna take his hand out. Exactly. So you want to take the entire arm. So you go on the triceps like this, and then you can go for a nice guillotine here as well. And then start finishing your opponent. Even if his arm is on this side, it's okay. So I have the chin strap, controlling under his arm here, grabbing my hands together, and now putting my shin under his stomach, having my leg over his back, and then I start choking him out, okay? So I show different variations. One is taking the back, going for submission on the rear naked choke. 2 is going for a Darce choke. 3 is going for guillotine. As I say in the other techniques, you can pause the instructional, rewind, watch again, pay attention to all the details, repeat, go back, watch again, pay attention to all details, repeat, go back, watch again. So you can like rewind and stop and go fast and forward, right? So it's really good for you to always stop and go back again and pay attention to the details, right? That's the key when you learn jiu-jitsu as well. So you of course gotta pay attention what your instructor is saying, but also there is something that maybe your instructor is not saying, right? You gotta pay attention and catch, right? Maybe like there'll be like some moves that I'll do that's really quick, really fast. Of course, I'll mention the main details of the techniques. There'll be like some small details that you can see, like just looking when the position works, like during the fight. Because drilling the technique is one thing. Doing the technique or be able to do the techniques during the fight is a completely different thing, okay? We gotta train the technique as a drill, so in order to apply the technique during the sparring, right? But there'll be like details that you'll be discovering and adapting to yourself while you start learning jiu-jitsu, right? So I show you like to be here, and then maybe like at first you're like, okay, I'm just going down, but what about if it's like this, right? If I never mention this snap on the triceps, you probably would be like doing here. And then that way you would still be on top of his form, right? So you gotta pay attention on these details. If he's doing this, but he's still with the back on the floor, you can use like one, and then you can still doing this. Look, you can still getting his neck, and then start applying nice rear naked choke after you get here. So you chop your hand behind his head, and then finish him. You can do the same thing, right? Same thing works if he's pushing me here and he's still there. So I go one, and then I go for a guillotine, right? So I grab his chin as a chin strap, grab my hand under, you see that chin strap, grab it here, right? Grab my hand, between my hand and wrist, right? So these 2 fingers go on the wrist, okay? And this last 2 fingers go on the hand. So grab it here. So once I do that, I fall to the side, put my leg over. Why I put my leg over? If he jump over to the other side, he's gonna escape. Right? I cannot allow my opponent to do that. So I keep right here, and then I finish him. So I squeeze. And to squeeze on the guillotine, as I mentioned before, bring your forearm against your thigh, right? As I mentioned, even the other instructionals as well, okay? So the reason we're doing this technique from knee on belly, snapping to the sides, because that can happen too when you pass with the knee on belly, like from here. So you go step 1, step 2, X pass. It's gonna start doing this. You go 1. Now I go like this, guillotine. So I see which one is better for me to do, okay? I can snap, go to the back, I can snap, chin strap, I can snap, Darce choke. So you gotta repeat and work on all the 3 options, right? So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Start pushing, I go 1, on here, seat belt, okay? Just train, because it really depends on your body type. I guess that, and I bet with you that if you have long arms, you're gonna be more comfortable doing the Darce choke. For example, if you're here, and then you go like this, you pass, and then you start pushing, you go 1, and then you're gonna feel more comfortable doing this because your arms are long. This is such a great option for you to choke your opponent's elbow on the floor and shrug the right side, finishing the fight. Okay, you can do that. If you have shorter arms, the guillotine is a good option, and the back take is a good option as well. Okay, so if you have longer limbs, it's better to go for a nice Darce choke. I suggest you that, because sometimes when you have long arms and you try, sit up, Jones, you try to go for the back, there'll be like a lot of space between your arms here, okay? And then sometimes while you're going to the back, you end up losing the position, okay? So if you have long arms and you work on taking the back, make sure you squeeze and have your chin really close to his shoulder while you're going to the back. So I got the knee on belly here. I push it to the side. Look at my chin, really close to his shoulder, right here. Okay, I cannot be like this. Here, elbow on the floor, turning to the other side. Okay, now hook the leg, control, then start getting his back. And notice that when I'm turning to the other side, okay, I use my inner thigh. Here, I use this leg. When I'm going that way, I'm using my toes on the mat and I'm pushing him with this leg here as well. So when I'm here, I'm pushing, causing the knee to that side. And notice that I'm pinching my knees together the whole time. Hook his leg, then I block here. This is not pointy yet, but it's a great way for you to control the back. As long as you have your calf over his hips and your hook under his leg, okay? And then I cover the bottom leg. Turn around, just. The reason that I cover the bottom leg is because if I keep like this, he can stretch the bottom leg and escape. Exactly. Then once I lose the bottom hook, you know, he's gonna start getting out. It's gonna be hard for you to control. So I like to go here because I'll try to escape, but it's hard for him to escape. He's trapped. Now I start attacking his neck. There's different things that I can do in order to attack his back. There's a lot of options right here. Okay, so I keep working on different chokes, okay? All right, so now you understand that you can snap to the side. Every time I'm fighting here and I'm going close to the side control here and the opponent start framing like this, it doesn't matter if I have knee on belly or not, I always do this. I always do this, okay? Even if you have the back on the floor here, I always make sure I take this away from me. Boom, like this, and then start working to be up behind his triceps. I don't want to be on his forearm. I want to be on his triceps. Now here I have way more pressure. My chest is on his chest. I can control his head. I can make transitions to the arch choke. I can get guillotines. I can do whatever I want. Okay, I can even go to mount if I want. Your goal is to have your chest as close as possible towards his body. All right. All right. On the next one, I'll be with the knee on belly. Okay. But now my opponent will turn away from me because it really depends, like the way that I pass, right? So sometimes when I go for the X pass, he's gonna be facing more outside like this, and you turn outside. And of course, he's not gonna turn outside just like this, right? He's gonna try to frame here and then try to sit up exactly. So now we're gonna do the exact same thing again. So you can use a C grip or you can use your forearm, okay? In this side right here, I like to use the C grip, okay? Because I feel like I can push his arm away and I'll be close to him faster, right? I feel like when I use my forearm, kind of like, you know, I put my shoulder on his shoulder and then it's hard for me to go with this arm over, my left arm over his neck, okay? So when I'm here, I like to do this, snap, and then I'll be close to him already. So once I get the seat belt, my knee goes under his body here, okay? And I'll keep my thighs outside of his body, so his body is between my legs, okay, like this. I don't have both hooks yet. My focus is to get the seat belt here. Now when I get at this position, if my opponent is here and he's trying to put the back on the floor, right, I'm gonna set up this hook first, okay, right here. If my opponent tries to look away from me, just go the other way. Yeah, like this, go, keep going. I will put the hook as the same way, like this, and then I'll have the other knee, the other hook going in as well. So as I put this hook, I follow him, okay? Or simply I can keep this leg here. But I really like to open his elbow right here, still with my chin over his shoulder, open his elbow, and I get the hook immediately. If you try to turtle, I'm already on top of him. Getting his back, and I spread him out like here, and then I get the rear naked choke, right? if he's trying to put the back on the floor, trying to face to me right here, right? I must put the hook and then I turn him first, squeezing my leg against him, turn him this way, right? Once I turn him, now I get the hook here and I trap him, right? Just like I showed you before. Now I can start attacking his neck, or I got 2 hooks and body lock. Once I got the body lock, now I start attacking my opponent. I can go to his neck, face the camera, Jones. I can go to his neck right here, but because his arm is under, he's gonna trap my arm. Close your elbow here. So sometimes my arm gets trapped here. So what I like to do, I like to get the Kimura trap wrist, okay, with my top hand, and I grab my wrist here. So now what I do, I put my hook right on top of his leg, stretch my right leg, the hook that is on top of his thigh, I stretch while I'm opening my arm. Okay, so I'm opening my arm, so his head will pass away his head will pass under my arm. I'll frame his head, okay, right on his neck. I'll frame his neck right here, and then I'll pass the leg over his head, and I got a really good arm bar, right? So again, so I'll be on the seat belt here, right? So I go step 1, control the Kimura trap. Step 2, hook. Step 3, I stretch my leg. You see that I have this hook here tight, opening my arm, frame on his neck, in case like he's trying to turtle and try to come up. In the meantime, I'll pass the leg over his head, and then I'll get a strong arm bar. Lean back, stretch his arm, control his wrist, pinky towards my chest, pinch my knees, and then get a good arm bar, okay? Bring his hand down and then bridge, right? So I like to attack the arm bar. I like to do this arm bar when my hand is like this, okay? I'm with the top hand that attack the neck on this side. I can do other things as well, right here, right? I can control his arms crossing like this, stepping over his arm, and then preparing to choke here. But sometimes he lock this arm here. It's really hard for me to take this arm out, so I like to go here. Hook, stretch, frame, pass the leg, and then I got a really good arm bar, pinching my knees, and then finish the fight, okay? So bring his hand down, and then bridge, okay? Always pinching my knees, and make sure the pinky is towards you, okay? So if you turn this way, right, I gotta push his arm towards the side of the pinky, right? Always, all right? That's really important. One more time. Okay, so I have the knee on belly right now. And my opponent's facing outside, exactly. So he's framed. See grip, seat belt. You see how I dive? I take his back, right? So see, like when I push him down, push him out, sorry, I'll go with this hand, my right hand under, my left hand, my outside hand goes over. That's my choke hand, okay? And my knee goes underneath of it, like this. In the meantime, when I'm turning, I can start getting the choke. That's the best way for you to choke the person from the back, right? The best way for you to choke your opponent while attacking the back is during the scramble, right? You scramble and you're already attacking the neck. That's the best way, okay? Sometimes you want to get the hooks in first and then you attack the neck. When you get the hooks in, then they start like being more aware with the neck. But when you're going and making the transition to the back, they're more aware with the hooks. They really like worry about the hooks, and then the neck will be open, okay? Every time you're attacking the neck, here, right, especially when you get the seat belt, you gotta pay attention on his chin. If his chin is open, go forward, okay? If his chin is locked, like maybe you gotta wait. Right? In the meantime, you make the transition, you open the neck, that's when you go. So you gotta have this feeling of your opponent to open the chin, right? Once you open, you attack the neck. So again, just the complete technique here will look like this. Started the initial, right? Grab his biceps with the thumb in. Grab his biceps with the 4 fingers in under his armpits, right? Thumb under the armpit, 4 fingers under the armpit. So the top arm goes right here. The underarm goes here, okay? So now he's gonna try to attack my the deep half, or try to get my leg. So I go out, knee on his stomach, knee on his thigh, sorry, right here. Turn, close. Okay, make sure you push him more outside of your chest, okay? The knee here. All right, so you're gonna go for the X pass. Step 1, step 2, pass. He's gonna sit up 1, 2, and then you go for the choke immediately as you take the back. If you do that way, that'll be perfect. That's the way you gotta drill. You jump to the back and already set up the choke, okay? And if you never learned the rear naked choke, turn around. Good. So I suggest you to train like this. So you here go, just go step 1, step 2. You do like in 2 steps. 1, 2. You see that my hand goes right here on top. My outside hand goes on top. Slide behind the neck and already grab the biceps. This hand here is waiting to hold to do like a karate chop right here between my biceps and my forearm. Okay, like this. Okay, so that's the best way. So I go 1, 2. So as you can see, when I'm taking the back here, right? Face the camera. So when I pass through the knee on belly here, Jonathan will do the frame and then start sitting. I go 1, look. Immediately I have the choke. Even though I don't have the hooks, try to escape without the hooks. Impossible for you to escape, so you can easily choke your opponent, okay? Even without the hooks. All right, right now we're gonna do the X pass with the super knee cut, right? We learned the super knee cut before, where we squared up your opponent, grab his both hands on his knee, okay, on his knees, and then you push his feet to the floor, and then you got a nice knee cut, right? And then we got the X pass where we squared up your opponent here as well, and then we just like kick the leg out and then pass the guard, right? And sometimes when you try to go for the X pass, your opponent will keep the legs locked. And because of that, he's gonna open up a space and you can go right away, right back to the super knee cut, right? For example, I'm not gonna do from the beginning, but it's gonna look like this. I'll be with my leg between his legs, like reverse la riva. I'll put my kneecap between his legs, right on his groin right here, okay? And I'll go for the X pass. So I'll kick my leg like this. So, but Jonathan will keep the leg locked right here. So I could take my leg away and to pass, right? To pass the knee on belly, right? So I couldn't like go away and take my leg out. So what I'm gonna do, you see the space that I open here? Right away I go for a chop super knee cut pass, like this, okay? So I'll do it slow again. Step 1, now step 2, I'll slide my shin here. And at the same time, I'm taking this leg off the mat. I gotta go like this, okay? And then I land with my armpits on top of his hips and my hips on top of his hips in the other side. So now I'm on the position that we learned before, pushing the shoulder, the biceps, and then having the toes on the mat. Don't seize your legs like this. I like to keep the top leg forward on top, right? And then I start squeezing his hips with my hips against my elbow on the other side here, okay? So I want to squeeze always my opponent against my hips and my elbow here, so that way he can move. Then I'm gonna put my kneecap, my hamstring, my quads right under his hamstring right here as a leg drag. And now immediately my outside leg covers the hips, okay? So I'm here on this position, right? So now I'm gonna start underhooking his arm, grab the hands together. Now chin on top of his, right on the side of his chin, on top of his trap right here. And I'm on the side control and I pass his guard, okay? One more time, slow. So I'll be here, okay? I'll square Jonathan's up, make sure his both shoulders are on the floor. I'll kick to the X pass, 1, and then I'll come back as a knee cut, 2. Okay, you see like the power of my knee cut, right? I cannot go gentle and slow, okay? So I cannot go here and go 1 and then go like this slow, okay? Because I don't want him to be able to get the shield, the knee shield on me, right? So when I'm here, if I go 1 and I go slow, Jonathan will put the knee shield back here. So then I cannot pass his guard. Right, that's why immediately when I go with the knee cut, I go with the knee cut and this leg goes up because it forces me to go with my knee faster forward and also covers my my armpit in the front of his hips, so that way Jonatas cannot bring the shield. Yeah, keeping the shin like this on my rib. So I go here, right? So in the fight, it's gonna look like this. So when I'm here, I use this actually a lot. My super fight against Felipe Pena, I was doing a lot of knee cuts. I couldn't fulfill the pass because he was really flexible. He was doing a really good job recovering the guard. But I got him tired, and I got him only on the defensive position. Also against Cyborg, I did the same. Right? All my super fight, most of the super against Braulio, I did the same. So I always work with this nice knee cut. And no gi, there's no grips, so he's not controlling you. So it's pretty easy for you to go to the super knee cut. So you gotta square him up like this. Make sure he's having both shoulders on the floor. Then you go step one, you go for the X pass. And then step two, you go to X pass, means like you want to kick your leg out, right? So I really try to kick, because if he doesn't control, don't control Jones. I'll go for the X pass, okay? I need to have the feeling like I'm trying to go for the X pass, he controls, and then I go back for a nice knee cut, okay? Now once I got here, I chop my hand under his armpit, control his biceps, and then reverse. It's like parking the car, right? You go forward, and then you go back. And once you're here, you place your knee close to his hips, right? And the other knee under his hips, under his hamstring. Now you underhook his arm. Then you can put your weight, your shoulder over his shoulder. Then you can start even going to the mount, or just stay on the side control, having your hands together. After you stop moving, you can start making transitions. Right? You can start going for chokes, right? Arm bars, just like we learned before on the side control attacks, okay? And shock shots. So I'm here. The beginning of the technique is going to be like this. Grab his biceps, grab his armpit, keep him far from you. Step one, step two, knee between his legs. Okay, now frame, and you go for the X pass. He's gonna block, I go back for a nice knee cut. Once I go here, okay, that's a huge mistake that people do after the knee cut. They want to do this to pass the guard, and then they want to recover the guard. Okay, so don't do that. As you pass, as soon as you land, you reverse. Go back here. Because your opponent will try to escape the hips and move. You keep controlling, move. Keep controlling. This hand on his biceps, you prevent him to sit up, prevent the frames. Maybe he's gonna do a frame with this hand here, right? With this forearm here, okay? He's gonna try to keep frame. I just look away from him, go under his arm, grab his head, and then I start putting my shoulder on his neck and going to a nice mount, right? Or even a nice katagatame choke, right? So I can have different variations after I pass the guard, okay? But very important, as soon as you pass, control the hips. As soon as you pass, control the hips. Most of the pass that I showed you, you always gotta go against the hips. Always gotta go against the hips. I really like to do that. Right? I really like to control the hips of my opponent, so that way he have no space to recover the guard. This is really, really important when you pass to the guard, okay? So again, so be here, knee shield guard, flat your feet on the floor, control the armpits, push him out, right? So once you're here, go step one, step two, step three. Frame, try to go back, Jones, with your hips. So you can't, so now I go. One, he block, two, I pass. Once I pass, right, Jones, frame. He's gonna start pushing me like this, right? So right here, look, I like to go here. See, like if he's pushing like this, I like to go one, and then two, and then I push his biceps. Don't try to go here, because he's gonna feel strong. I go one, two, and then I push. Now I squeeze his hips against my elbow, my right elbow. Place my leg under, control his hips. It's gonna be moving, move, Jones. Take the arm out here. If I can work with this, to take his arm out, great. Now I grab, control, okay, the hands together. Then you can go knee on belly and mount. So you stay here. With this mount, you are in a very good choke. The katagatame choke. And also if you want to learn this choke, you guys can learn from the attacks that I teach from mount, the mount instructionals. I show the Katagatame choke there and all the details. Okay? So let's keep working on that. Okay? Pay attention to all the details. Let me show one more time to just make sure you understand that. Okay? So control here first. You don't want him to touch your legs. If you underhook your leg, that's bad. Okay? Underhook my leg, Jonas. Keep your leg away from him. Okay? Underhook my arm, Jonas. This hand here will also help you to not let your opponent to underhook your arm. If you keep your hand here, sometimes it's gonna underhook. And if he does that, look, you're gonna work to attack the neck. But we're gonna be here. Our goal is to stay here. Go try to underhook. I stay here. Then I go in the meantime. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, X pass. Didn't work. Knee cut. He's pushing, right? If he's pushing my hips, easy to grab the bicep. If you push my biceps, I cannot close my elbow and then go under. It's gonna be hard, so I go 1 and then 2. Okay? Really quick. And then I go back. Okay, he's gonna frame, just I stay here, push him out, frame, just start to escape. Okay, underhook his arm, try to escape, Jones. You see that my right hand is right here. Go, Jones. And I'm squeezing my right leg. I'm trying to bring my right leg close to my right elbow. Okay, my right knee close to my right elbow. Doing that, I squeeze his hips. Go, Jones, try to escape. And just stay here. Once you stop moving, okay, great. Now we start getting the upper body. A little. Okay, take your time, especially no gi is very slippery, right? So it's not very often that you're gonna get a good side control right away, right? Because it's super slippery. But if you get here, you cannot lose the opportunity to control your opponent. Okay, don't give space. Sometimes your opponent will feel so uncomfortable that he's gonna start turning the back away from you. He's gonna like start doing this. Exactly, try to frame my neck just like this. And here, like I can do C grip, control, and dive to get his back. Okay? So you gotta mix it up. All the techniques that I'm showing you here, all the transitions, will work really well for you. Okay? Just make sure you work with all the details and conquer the territories when you pass in the guard. Beat up the knee shield. Get on the side, control the hips, move back, control the hips, you stop moving, control the upper body, okay? Remember, as soon as you land on the side of your opponent will move, trying to escape, okay? You gotta establish the guard pass, you gotta be patient, right? You only move when you feel that your opponent is not moving anymore 100%, right? First it's gonna be 100%, like trying to go like crazy, right? Moving, pushing really hard. Once you hold for 5-10 seconds, he's gonna start slowing down. And as he slow down, then you're gonna conquer more territory. And then he stopped, now you have the whole territory for you. And once you stop moving, you have the whole territory, you can do whatever you want. And then you move on top of your opponent, making sure that he doesn't have you don't give any space to him to escape. You gotta move fast, but at the same time with a good pressure. All the details that I'm showing you here, like tiptoes on the mat, knees off the mat, closing the elbow, trying to bring your elbow under and close to your elbow as well. Try to bring your knee close to your elbow. Okay, you're gonna lock use your lats. You're gonna use your lats a lot when you squeeze your opponent. Right, squeeze. And be prepared for the underhooks, because when you get on the side, your opponent will get the underhook. Right. He's got like no gi. It's a great option for him to get the underhook. Okay, you gotta make sure you go and be prepared for that, right? So when I get on the side of my opponent here, he's gonna underhook me. No matter how I'm gonna pass, like he's gonna try to do this. And if you succeed on turning, right, turn just like this, immediately I start going for the neck, right? Grabbing the neck, right? Or put the weight on his elbow, right? And that way you start pushing and don't let him turn. But if he turns, right, like this, be ready to attack. Chin strap, right? And working all the techniques that we learned from here, okay? So you guys be prepared for that. Every time you're on top, right, passing the guard, and your opponent has his back on the floor, every time he takes his back off the mat, go for the neck. Because you can choke him, you can make transitions to the back, you can make transitions to the back, to the mount, you can make transitions while you're attacking the neck, you can make transitions to side control, right? It's really good for you to get the chin strap and think about that when you're passing, Okay? Every time you pass your opponent to try to underhook, be prepared to attack his neck. Okay? Also, the north-south choke will be there. Good Kimura traps, right? Underhooks, everything is there. So make sure you be prepared to attack the back of your opponent as well if you are lighter weight. Let's say if you're skinny, light, and your opponent is really strong, be prepared to take the back, because after you pass the guard, because you're light, you gotta make strong transitions to the back, right? So once you get on the side right here, you are so light that the opponent is gonna start like bumping you and then sticking you like out. So you gotta be prepared to make transitions to take the back, right away. So I suggest you to drill guard passes followed by back attacks, okay, if you're lighter. Right? If you're heavy, just make sure you close all the space. Use your toes on the mat. Don't play anymore like this, right? Like don't play, lay down, Jones. Don't play with your feet flat on the floor. Even if you're on the side, don't stay like this, because this is not good for you. Okay, you gotta have your tiptoes on the mat, like pushing and having your weight on your opponent, and make sure you lock everything and work with your lats, okay? Squeezing your opponent. He needs to feel the pressure, and he needs to pay for letting you go to his side control. Okay, you must pass the guard. So don't lose positions when you're fighting. Okay, the goal of the fight is to lose less as possible, right? Lose, I mean like losing the control of the situation. Once you got the half guard, control. You pass the guard, control, stay there. You mount, control, stay there. You take the back, control, stay there. So in each technique, you gotta stay as long as you can. And of course, when you conquer those territories, you gotta make sure you tap your opponent, okay? Be ready to attack and finish your opponent and make him comfortable while he's in an uncomfortable position. What that means, when I pass this guard, he's gonna move like crazy, and then he's gonna feel uncomfortable. And then because he feels uncomfortable, he's gonna be like, oh, you know what? I'm so uncomfortable, I'll relax, I'll make myself comfortable. Everyone that's defending, they pretty much think like that. Let's say when somebody's choking you, right, you're defending, you're so uncomfortable, but then like the way for you to escape is making yourself comfortable first. You gotta, oh, no, let me be comfortable here, be patient, now I'm gonna try to escape, right? Because if you get desperate, your opponent will finish you, right? It's the same when you pass in the guard. You start attacking your opponent side to side, side to side. He's gonna be uncomfortable in the beginning, he's uncomfortable. But then like once he's so uncomfortable that he cannot move anymore, he lost all his energy. Now you're gonna start having your weight on him, right? Your weight on him, he's gonna start feeling more comfortable, and now he's gonna start moving because he wants to make sure he defend your attacks after you control him, right? And that's when you go for different submissions or different transitions. And the transition from the side control will be mount or back take, right? Or submissions, of course. Submissions, mount, or back take. After you take the back, you're gonna try to mount again, but you're never gonna walk backwards. You cannot like take the back of your opponent here, like right, putting both hooks in, and then like you go for the mount, and then you go for the side control. Now you let him recover the guard. It will pretty much like reverse. You're going the other way around. Right, your goal is between his legs. You pass. All right, you control. Now what I have submissions, back, or mount. So I gotta be prepared for that, okay? So make sure you keep like that in your mind, okay? The mindset must be like that. You don't need to pass the guard of your opponent 10 times, 20 times. You gotta pass the guard of your opponent one time only. And then after that, the fight is over, right? You gotta make your opponent pay. Once he let you get on the side control, you gotta stay as long as you can. And the goal of having a really good side control, like how I can have a really strong side control. Put yourself on that situation, right? So you start the fight like here. Don't start like this already with all the grip. Like start like this without the grip. Let's say even with your opponent frame here, and then fight. Because this is the beginning of the guard pass. And then you're gonna start understanding the moves of your opponent, and you're gonna work and develop a way to put your weight on your opponent according to the way he's reacting, okay? So I suggest you do that. And the specific training can be shorter. Can be like short rounds or can be longer rounds. A lot of people don't like to do shorter rounds. I suggest doing shorter rounds because you work in the explosion of the person bottom, they'll move like crazy. That's how you gotta deal with the situation, because every time you get on the side, the person will explode. You gotta be ready for that. And a lot of people don't like to train like that because they think like it's too short. The fight is not too short. But remember, when you conquer a technique, when you conquer a position, the person will explode. So you gotta be ready to fight on top of your opponent, to move and control while he's exploding. If you don't train that, right, you're never gonna master the position. You're never gonna master the situation, right? So I suggest you to do more specific training, definitely. Putting yourself in the uncomfortable zone, right? Out of the comfortable zone. So that way you can start being more comfortable, even though you're working the things that you don't like, okay? So that's the way you increase and develop your jiu-jitsu in a better way, all right?